think West Ham fans have felt for a long time they've been trying to keep hold of Declan Rice, and they get the vibe that he might want to seal a move, get some Champions League football. I remember he said something in an interview around the World Cup where he said, I don't want to be that player that retires without silverware. He wants to play at the top of his game for as long as he can and win things. So West Ham fans, how much of a blow would it be? But if you get 80 to 100 million for him, is that enough to reinvest in the team? How do you feel about this? 03717 22 33 44. Obviously such a key and integral part of your team. A big leader as well. There were other rumours linking him back to Chelsea too at the time. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Especially if
I think
Arsenal
Chelsea will come and get him now that Arsenal have showed some interest. Actually, I think it's naturally we'll be picking up the paper tomorrow, see that Declan's away to the bridge again.
Ali, I would go and pick him up myself. I know you would. Turn my car on. I would drive to wherever he lives. I would pack his suitcases for him. Will you help me? Yeah, brilliant. Put them in the back of the car. Even as a Chelsea fan, you'd help me out, would you?
I'm joking. In all seriousness, what a signing he'd be for Arsenal.
Oh, it'd be brilliant.
What a signing he'd be for anybody.
Yeah. The only thing...
But what's thing you got to say, it's not what the West Ham United fans want to hear this morning, particularly, or any morning for that matter. Of course
not. But the flip side of it is for Arsenal, if we got an injury to Partey, for example, but it would be a disaster, a complete disaster. But the only frustration is I'm like, why wait until the summer? Like, can't you do something? Can't you get him now? But West Ham are never going to let him go in this season, are they? Especially the season they're having at the moment.
I mean, if West Ham let him go now, and there was no improvement, it's slitting your own throat, effectively, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that would happen. But I mean, it's a statement of intent. You look at the players. Mudryk, I think will be a terrific player. He'd have been brilliant for Arsenal if the Chelsea come in there. But I've got to say, there's good noises coming out of Arsenal, isn't there? Not just on the pitch. I mean, they're obviously looking to strengthen. They realise they're going to strengthen. And it's in the right areas. I said to you yesterday, Woodsy, I just think middle to front, if they get a couple of injuries, it could be a telling factor. But Declan Rice, what a statement that would be.
If there was anything that Declan needed to add to his game, because he's still quite young, what would you say it would be? Would it be goals?
Goals, maybe. Goals. But in the way, he's the position he plays, makes it a little bit more difficult for him to get forward, I suppose. He's brilliant at what he does, but you could maybe get forward and get a few more goals, maybe from set plays, shots outside the box. But you know me, I'm a massive Declan Rice fan.
I spent a lot of my evening last night listening to a podcast called Diary of a CEO. Stephen Bartlett is the host. He's brilliant, and he gets some incredible guests on it, really, really good guests. Not just in the world of business, but the world of sport as well. He had David Moyes on there, and I saw it yesterday. So during the show, it popped up on my news feed, on my Instagram feed during one of the breaks, and we had just finished talking about West Ham being in trouble and how the fans feel about their league position at the moment, being in the relegation zone. And I looked at it and I went, wow, that is strange timing. And I listened to it last night and I figured out, they said they were 16th, I think it was at the time. And Stephen mentioned something about going to interview Karen Brady as well. And I listened to the Karen Brady podcast when I was at the World Cup. So I think it's about November that this was recorded. Which I think makes it a little bit better. And I don't know that you can control when these podcasts are released. I think once you do the podcast, it's sort of at the mercy, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure about that. But it was a really intriguing listen. I like David Moyes, and I found it really fascinating to listen to what he was talking about. And specifically to West Ham, he was talking about changing the culture. And he said he feels like he's already done that a little bit. So making them more robust and making sure that they aren't so up and down, that they're more consistent as a team. And making that team a team that young fans around the surrounding area actually want to go and watch, rather than losing them to like the Cities and the Liverpools and maybe even now the Arsenals of the world, of the Premier League. And he said to do that, you've got to get brilliant players. And I suppose in his mind, and everybody else's, one of those players is Declan Rice. So if you lost that player with everything he represents at that club, how much of a blow would that be?
No, your point's a very valid one, because it's part of the identity of the club you're losing. I know it's only a small bit, and I know it's football, but I've said all along, I think football fans love and I know he was at Chelsea, but football fans love youngsters in their own side breaking through, progressing in the team. There's nothing better than a football fan watching a youngster come in at their side and watching them progress and the team get better. So in that respect, Laura, it would be a blow. It's football though, it happens. I mean, it absolutely happens. I think the majority of West Ham fans, you know, would if and when the time comes, they would. The one thing they would do, they clearly appreciate the job that Declan Rice has done for West Ham, because he's got a great relationship with those fans and they appreciate what he does. There is a kind of inevitability about it. I think that, you know, he'll want to go and win major honours and play in the Champions League on a consistent basis, and I think he deserves that, and I think his play warrants that.
Could that be the difference between Declan Rice wanting to join Arsenal and join Chelsea next season? Because if Chelsea don't make top four...
Yeah, and the long and short of it, possibly, but it's whether he looks at Chelsea and sees Chelsea as having a blip this season, and they will bounce back, which, you know, Chelsea supporters would obviously hope that will be the case, and they're not completely out the top four, although themselves and Liverpool have certainly got a lot of work to do. Arsenal at this moment in time look a great bet in terms of, I'm not even talking about Champions League next season, I'm talking about the team moving forward. I'm talking about the team for the next 5-6 years. I'm talking about the youth they've got in their team. I'm talking about the balance. I'm talking about the manager. I'm talking about the relationship with the fans. Arsenal have more than turned the corner. And, you know, I think it's difficult for Arteta. You know, I think the first time at the weekend he's come out and said it'll take 90 points whether to beat you win the league. That's the first time he's kind of made a statement like that, of course, which is difficult for him not to do, because the press will be hounding him to get statements like that every interview. But longer term, the project at Arsenal, I would say, Laura, would be very, very attractive to Declan Rice and any other youngsters coming through that at the top of their game, because, as I say, it looks the place to be, doesn't it? I mean, you're sitting there thrilled every Monday morning you're coming in here, and it's a great story. It is a great story.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.